loving yourself enough to be mindful, to be present, because when you are met in the present moment, you release all suffering. And you're going to release all your suffering as soon as you start to do this, where you're not just trying to meditate to do nothing and to get everything out of your mind. You now have a job to do. You got something to work on, which is build the relationship with yourself. Who is she? What are you working toward by the end of this timeline that you're in this dimension? Like, what are you working toward? And this is where I truly want you to feel it so that you can embody all of it. Take some time right now to feel into who you truly are. You could be the poorest person or the richest person. If you start to feel into like, oh, I'm just so grateful that I have like this house and I have that car, and oh wow, I've just been, granted the best gift on earth. Start again. Go in and feel yourself and show gratitude for yourself. Something that it could sound like or look like, and I know it's me and I don't ask you to, do similar things to me, but just as a helping hand, something that I think about quite often is the remembrance that I have when I was quite little of having an experience with others on the other side. I remember it. And I think that this is the thought that keep me coming back to this is real. Because I'm a realist and I need some evidence, as you know, and I'm kind of like, well, how am I like in a psychosis right now? Like, am I making all of this up? But there's this connection that I had when I was little that I go back to. And I always go back into that connection that I had within that soul moment. And I always show gratitude for that. That's who I was. And I feel into it. And you might have even had imaginary friends. You might be able to go back into that. You might be able to go into a time when you felt, people around you, you felt angels around you, you felt that protection, maybe you felt your higher self, you felt something, and go back into that and make that connection back in with you. Once you make the connection back in and you feel that gratitude where you're like, oh my goodness, I'm just so grateful that I found this early in my life. That's how I feel. I'm young. I'm only 33. I feel so grateful that I have made the connection back to self so young. And you feel into that. Thank you. Thank you for granting me with this divinity, with this frequency. I now remember. And as you feel that connection coming in, you then start to embody it and your mind starts to wander of how you could help people with that frequency, with that connection that you have. Once you start to do that, you're building a relationship with yourself. Okay? And then any moment that you come against any adversity or anything, you connect back into yourself. Is this truly what we are doing right now? Is this for my highest potential timeline? Because how do you know that you're on the highest potential timeline if you don't know yourself? The truest one is what you're going to feel. Is this truly for us? No, my darling, it's not. And you will start to grieve because this is something that we've been over before, is maybe that person, you really like them, they're a great friend, but you can feel the truth coming through you because of that relationship that you have with your higher self can see so much further than you can, and you're starting to build it, okay? And this is where the relationships come in with other people that are going to be just so prosperous, is because you're going to meet someone and you're going to feel it and you're going to go, is this of truth? And you have that relationship because you trust, because any relationship is built on trust, and specifically this one. If you don't trust your higher self, you're not going to receive the messages correctly. And you tune in and you say, hey, listen, I've just met this person today. Do they have my best interests at heart? Can we trust them? Yes, you are there to help them. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Thanks for giving me the heads up that something's going to come in and knock my socks off. And you can feel it. Or it might be, yes. And you're like, well, they're not my usual person I would communicate with. Why? And they will tell you, this is the relationship. Well, they're going to teach you something. Okay, sure. And so to be forearmed is to be forewarned. So now you can see that the relationship to self is so important, because this is where you build the best relationships with friends and family, and you start to harmonize all of the energies, and you no longer live in suffering because you understand them, because you understand yourself and why you came. Because if somebody is hurting us, we need to understand why we feel hurt. Yes, from one perception in the third dimension is they can be a bit of an a-hole. Yep. This is where I'm a realist. I can look at people and be like, you know what? That's not how a human should act. But that's a personal opinion. But when we get to the truth of the source, we can truly understand of why they did that and what we're receiving and what we're understanding. If you don't understand it from your personal frequency, then what you'll do is you'll feel like you're just going out to understand everybody else. Why do I have to understand them? Why do I have to heal them? Why is it my duty to be there for them? And you feel hard done by. I don't want you guys to feel hard done by. I want you to feel empowered, where you start to use this information to really expand and ascend. And then when you're living in that understanding and that inner knowing, you can just enjoy your human experience, because you get that nothing is personal. Nothing is personal.